Hey everybody, on this episode of Millennial Motoring, we're going to be putting a cold air intake on the S2000. Now the stock air box is nothing wrong with it. I actually have a K&N air filter in it right now, but as you can see, there's electrical tape covering some nice holes, just over 17 years of wear and tear on the car. So figure it's better to put a aftermarket intake, which I was planning on buying anyway, now instead of buying a stock intake for it and putting that back on. There are pictures on S2KI of how to install the K&N cold air, and there are other YouTube videos out there. Let's get started. So for those of you with AP1s like myself, the airbox on these is a little bit different. And we do have this solenoid that you gotta pull off right here. Just gonna set that aside. We're gonna actually unclip that right there. This you're gonna need a long extension and a 10 mil. So there are 3 bolts. Look at the bloody size of it. I mean, shit, look at that. A little bit nicer, so right down in there you don't have to see this like mess of dirt. So we're effectively removing all these vacuum lines here. So this vacuum line up top, this whole bracket is going to go. There's a coolant line here, and this coolant line I just removed right here. Make sure you want to put a rag over your alternator and over your serpentine belt so you don't get coolant all over the place from the rest of the assembly. But when you have a car that's old, it is generally a little bit easier. Okay, so for those of you that don't remember where all this stuff goes, the line coming out of the air vacuum pump is going to go into the lower hard line under the fuel rail. And from the check valve, you're going to go to the hard upper line on the fuel rail. Get yourself a little axis. So they provide you hardware to mount this. So I'm using this bolt here with this spacer. Put it on like so. And you're going to mount it with bracket 083155 this way. And then you're going to just push, well. We did have to play around a little bit, but once we got this mounted, they said they provided the hardware for it, but nothing would fit to the factory hole, and nothing would fit to the factory screw that comes with it, factory bolt that comes with it. So just use some good old-fashioned zip ties to kind of secure it. This one is just tied right around the bracket and the mount itself for the actuator. And then the other zip tie I have here is wrapped around the top line very gently, and then to this larger loom. It's kind of securing that together, so it's pretty stable in there. And I kind of wanted it to be on the beefy end of the hose, but you know, it's okay. It kind of can. It's still pretty stable, and it's not pinching it off. For the K&N, the long black zip ties they give you, I kind of wrapped all these hoses with the large loom and this loom together to kind of secure it so it doesn't fly into the belt. And then on the upper end, I used it to tie these two connector looms together, as well as the TPS loom with the two vacuum hoses. It is a little close here, but it doesn't really move that much, so I don't think it'll be a big problem. So that's how I have my lines packaged, and that shot was mostly out of focus, but there you go, that's how I have my lines packaged. We're going to attach the coolant line that goes from the front side of the engine here to underneath the throttle body, and they provide you with this orange inner lined line. They also give you hose clamps, but I'm going to be using the factory pieces just because I like to keep it that way, so I'm going to be using the factory hose clamps because they do fit onto this line, so yeah. Okay, so again, we were kind of fiddling around. So I'm using this factory bolt from elsewhere in the engine that we pulled off previously. We're going to mount it there using the K&N provided washer. We're now required to get a little creative. They have you mount the nuts kind of over, the bolts back over here, and then you kind of have to, underneath this plate, kind of finesse the nuts in. Great fly. There. Carbon piece on the end, of course the hose clamp on it. So if you are like me and you live in California, they're going to give you a carb EO number that goes with this, and you're going to want to stick that right here, or at least that's where I'm going to stick mine, so it's easily visible. That's it. It's done. Let's give it a fire up. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. I hope this episode helped somebody. The K&N manual is actually pretty good. We only had to change a couple things. I used a little bit of stock hardware. I just like to use the factory stuff as much as I can. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. It sounds pretty good. We're going to get it on the road and see how it drives, but so far so good. It looks pretty clean. Thanks for watching. Work. All right. Done. Video over.